Hi, I'm John Lewis. This is André Pederneiras. This is tape 3, and today we're going to be working on numerous new and exciting techniques. A lot of competition techniques and a lot of vale-tudo techniques. We're going to be working on all kinds of things today. Tool sharpening, conditioning. We're going to visit with Nick Blumgren and go over some new strategies and the chess game. As always, Igor will be here with us today, showing us some new moves. While you're warming up and getting ready, check out my new music video.
Get out of my way, 'cause I kill that wheel, and I ain't gonna stop till I get my feel. It's been a long time since I delivered a blow, penetrating the sky. They're not gonna take me down this time, baby. These are the things going through my mind. I'm just here to tell you, baby, everything is gonna be fine. Go hard.
first technique, André hooks my leg from the inside and takes my other leg from under me with his right hand. Once again, he hooks my leg from the inside and takes my other leg from under me. He gets close, driving me to the wall, does an inside hook, snatches my right leg from under me, and I'm on my back. As I attempt the technique, André reaches around my head and between my legs, grabbing his hands, moving his leg and taking me to the floor. Once again, around my head, between my legs, moving his leg and taking me to the floor. Notice how he reaches around my head, second hand comes between my legs, and he'll move his left leg out of the way, clearing it, and taking me to the floor. In this position, Andre's head is here next to my arm, so I reach over it and under it, clasp my hands together, hook my leg, and I sweep him, and I also apply a stocks submission, like so. It's on the back of the neck. Once again, over his head, under his arm, grabbing my own hand, inside hooking my leg, sweeping him and mounting, and then I leave the mount, stepping to the side, and apply stocks to the back of the neck. Once again, my leg hooks inside, sweeping him, and I apply stocks, which is a crank on the back of the neck. In defense, I reach over and under. André lifts his right foot, straightens out his arm, his left arm, puts it in front of my face, and pushes away and pulls his arm out of the hole. Once again, he lifts his right foot, straightens his arm out, put it in front of my face, pushing away, and he's free. The right leg's up for base, pries his hand in there, pushing away on my face, and frees himself. André puts both hands under my legs, pulls me up, squeezes my knees tightly around his head, then threads his hand through, controlling them both. Putting his weight on me, his arm comes under my head, and he passes the guard. Once again, both hands are inside the hole, pulls me up, knees are tight, controls the legs, arm goes under my head, passes the guard, and I'm in a press hole here. Notice how he controls my legs. As he puts his weight on me, starts pivoting around sideways, goes under my head, and he kind of ties me up here as he passes the guard.
Okay, push up on his elbow. My hip moves to the side. My knee comes inwards. And my foot hooks across his body. At the same time, I grab his elbow over here. Keep it pressured, keep it tight by pushing slightly here and pulling here. My other hand comes under his leg. I push away with my left leg and I lift with my right arm and my right knee. Now, at this point, you have two options. One is to keep the arm where it is, which I like because the guy can't turn away from me and I can still hit. So it only leaves him turning towards me. But sometimes, if he's very strong, he might be able to lift you. Your other option is going to be the proper knee on the belly, which is your knee and your foot up. This position's nice. You can strike from it. Very good. The guy might have a little bit more freedom, but you can follow him around pretty good from here. So you have here, or you have in here, keeping the leg. In which case I can hold him and strike as well.
From the side control, my arm comes across the other side of his head, and I sit out. As I move my hip backwards, this time I'm going to do something different than the last technique you learned in one of the other tapes. I move my hip backwards, and then I'm going to grab my own foot and pull it through the hole and mount. It's hard for him to see this position because my back is blocking his face. Once again, I'm in side control, I change my arms, and I sit out. It's very important that my back leg is up in this position very strong because he's going to try to bridge me back, and I need the base. I move my hip back, and then very quietly grab my foot, pull it through the hole, and mount. Once again, please. Controlling him, move my hip back, foot comes through the hole, and I'm in the mounted position. In defense, as I go for my position, André bridges, hitting me across my chest, and as I try to get up, controls both legs and puts me on my back. Again, I go for my position. His arm's in there to block my hip. His other arm comes across my chest and he bridges hard. As I try to get up, he just controls both my knees, puts me on my back. So as I go for the position we just taught, I'm switching. He catches me in my moment. As I try to get up, keeps me down on my back. This is a submission I first learned from Gene LaBelle. He calls it the Cobra Clutch. I turn sideways here. André grabs my arm, threads his other arm through, and he applies pressure to my neck by straightening his arm out. Once again, as I turn, he pivots to a side mount. He grabs my arm, threads his other arm through my neck, straightens his arms out, and chokes me. So as I start to turn to escape the mount, André lets me go and turns with me. His foot comes across my stomach, and his right knee comes high on my back, controlling me to a side mount. Controls my wrist, places his left arm through and on the side of my neck, straightens his arm out, and chokes. Here's an explosive mount escape that I like. I'm going to push off his hips suddenly and bring my knees to the hole. I'm in a butterfly guard. Once again, bridging, bring my knees to the hole in a butterfly guard. My hands are on his hips. As I bridge, I bring my knees inside the hole. He's on my butterfly guard. In this position, André reaches under my arm and grabs my wrist. His foot comes on my hip, his other foot comes across my body, and he turns over. But he doesn't let me turn over, so he mounts. Once again, he's under my arm, grabbing my wrist. His leg comes across, turns over, but pulls me back to the mount. He's controlling my arm, changes his legs. As he goes to get up, he keeps control. This is a tricky technique, takes a little bit of work, but it's fun. As he tries to mount, I go between my legs with my arm, and I roll. Both my arms come through the hole, and I come up on top of him, and I'm on his back. Let's see that again. So he goes to mount. Before he gets his hooks in, I go between my legs with my arm, I roll over my shoulder, bring both arms out of the hole, and I come up, and I mount. Once again, He goes for the mount. Now he's vulnerable at this point. I go between my legs, right to the middle. And as I roll, watch my left arm. It comes through the hole as well. I come up. I use my hands to push off the floor. And I take his back. Tool sharpening technique here is made to help you learn it when you're fighting from your guard, from an open guard, and someone passes your guard, you still can fight from upside down, like this. See, I pass Steve's guard, get in here, he still gets his legs in, he's still fighting from here, okay? So I pass again, he still gets his legs in, he's still okay, okay? I'm gonna do it on the wall, check this out. Put your butt up to the wall, like so. Put one foot on the wall, step across, use your arms. My foot steps across, pivot to the back of my neck, and come under again. And again. This flows. Once more. Pivot, under your shoulder, under, over, and again. Okay? Let's all try it. Okay, so tool sharpening again. Today we're going to work on getting up safely from the ground, okay? And what I mean is basically getting up without getting hit. The best defense is a good offense in this situation because what I want to do is catch this guy in a bad situation, and the worst thing he can possibly do is get up without defending his face or just get up with two hands on the ground. If he does that, I'm going to wait till he's halfway up so he can't strike me in any way, and I'm going to try to strike him. So if he gets up incorrectly, as soon as I see him halfway up, maybe here, or he gets up again, even faster even. Still, whatever I'm going to do, that's my best time to hit him because he can't hit me back. So what he has to do, what André has to do here, is he has to scare me so that I'm on my defense so he can get up, okay? Now, the technique can be used as a real attack. If somebody's smart, they're going to keep their distance, so it's going to be hard to hit them, but it doesn't matter. The point is you're keeping them away from you so you can get up. The technique is this. Andre's going to keep his hand in front of his face at all times. His hand's always up, okay? That hand's going to be on the ground. All his weight is on that hand. Notice, his right hand, his left foot is on the ground. His butt's off the ground now. He's free. This leg here is going to kick towards my leg. The proper technique is against my knee to hyperextend my knee. And he gets up. His hand's still up. Okay? But like I said, the important thing is not so much that he really hits my leg, but that I think he's going to hit my leg. So I'm watching my distance. As he goes to kick for me, I move, but he's up safely. Okay? Let's try it in real time. So fast. And he's up. If I stay, I get kicked in the leg. If I move, he gets up. Okay? Let's try it. In this conditioning technique, basically all you want to do is run back and forth between two people and throw them each time. This helps build your cardio, helps you get a lot better endurance in your training. Just running back and forth, say 2 to 3 minutes each time.
柔術のジョン・ルイスであります。まずは序盤見合っています。この辺りまだどう出てくるかという様子見ですかね。
そうですね。
オーソドックスそしてサウスポースタイルに佐藤ルミナがこう何かを試そうというような形、ちょっとリラックスした表情です。
まず軽いローから飛ばしていきましたね。
何かこうリングに登ると顔つきが変わりましたジョン・ルイス、
はい、
そして背中にはタトゥー、何か不気味な感じがいたします。
怪しいですね。
左のロー、右のジャブをスッスッと伸ばしてきますジョン・ルイス。
ルイスの懐は深いですからリーチ長いですから、
はい、
ちょっと入るのに苦労するかもしれないですね。
そのあたりは下手に入っていくと危ない、そういう思いが佐藤ルミナにはあるかもしれません、はい、右のロー早い飛びつき、このあたりは飛びついていきます。そして締めていく、はい、さあしかし
安心ですね。
ジョン・ルイス落ち着いています、
はい、崩れないですね。
そして全く動じないようなそんな印象すらあります、
はい、みんなグラウンドに行きたいのか、それとも立ち技を警戒しているのかちょっとわからないですね。
体勢をやや変えます、
はい、
ここは一気に落とすということはしないんでしょうかジョン・ルイス。
そうですね、まあ伺っているとは思いますね。はい、
ゆっくりとグラウンドに移行していきましたジョン・ルイス。J セクト柔術、
うまいですね。この辺の
あたり
糸もあっさりパスガードしましたね。
そして肩固め、はい、上になっているのがジョン・ルイス。
首、自分の、
どうですか、
この押さえ方なんかも柔術というよりは柔道に近い押さえ方に見えますね。でその後ブラジリアン柔術を学んで
ない中でも両者が様子を見ながらねやってるという感じがあります。さあここはリングの中央に持っていった、
はい、うまいですね。もうこれでまず押さえは動かないだろうと思いますが、
さあラスト3分すでに5分、さあやや動くか、胸を少し開けてずーっと続いています。場内の観衆もこの2人の動きにじーっと注目しております。
不用意には動けないですね。
そういう状態でしょうね。
そうですね。
今動いたら 負けというような状況にもなるかもしれません。
はい。
さあ時間の方が刻一刻。
腕を狙いますね。
腕を取るか。ここでジョン・ルイスが先ほど決めていた自分の右腕を外す。しかしまた潜り込ませます。
この抑え自体には安定感ありますから、ここに戻っていきますね。
この辺りこう粘っこいしつこい嫌な攻めが続いているジョン・ルイス。
まあ、かといって決定ではないですから、ルミナにしてもこの時点で考えられるベストな方法は取ってますね。
はい、
はい。
そこはまだこの動かずに、
はい、
この状態でまず第1ラウンド、
はい、
今ゴング終わろうというところですね。
はい。
シュートのホープ佐藤ルミナ、対するは初来日 J セクト柔術のジョン・ルイスであります。どうなんですか、はい、じゃあ何かこう因縁めいたというか、ね、運命の糸でつながっているというところありますね。
そんな感じありますね。まさに運命の対決だと思います。
これからそしてこの両者というのがもちろん両方とも伸びていくでしょうから、はい、新しいこうライバル関係というのができてきそうですね。
そうですね。
さあここは状態をやや起こしました。それにくっついていく形佐藤ルミナ。
はい。
左そして右を抜く。うまく抜いていきました。さあここはジョン・ルイス自分のペースに持ち込もうというところ。佐藤ルミナもガードポジション、はい、一旦外されそうになりましたけれども、はい、膝を入れて相手を起こそうというところ。
ルミナ腕関節欲しがってますね。
腕に意識いってますか。
はい。ところがルイスは分かってますから動かせないですね。
またガードポジションに戻ります。
意地と意地ですね。ルイスはエクストリームの本当にトップ選手ですから、はい、エクストリーム大会ではもう2連勝ですし、ルミナも6連勝ですね。負けなしです。
去年の9月にハワイで AMC の大会でプロデビューを果たしたばかりなんですが、
そうですね。その後エクストリーム大会ではカーウソン・グレイシーの息子のカーウソン・グレイシージュニアとドローに終わってます。
そうですか、
はい、
そういったこう何かこう実力の伸びというのが目覚ましいものがありますね。
そうですね。もちろんルミナも負けてないですよ。
はい、この両者非常にこれからが楽しみ。
はい、
ジョン・ルイスの方は27歳、そして佐藤ルミナの方はまだ22歳という非常に若い選手。これからの動き注目してまいりたいと思いますが、はい、この対戦どうでしょうか。
腕のクラッチしてますから、はい、ちょっと下がった方がいいかもしれないですね。
ジョン・ルイスの方は肩を決めています。
ルイスも決していい体勢ではないんですよ。
そうですか。
はい、腕は救われてますし、ここからどうでも揺らせられるっていう可能性はありますから、ルミナにしてもまだまだチャンスあります。
この辺も小手を頭の横のあたり、そしてルミナの方はかかとを打ちつけていきます。
はい、ちょっと角度が悪いですね。
しかし第3ラウンドに入ってまた一段と佐藤ルミナ左目のあたり腫れが目立ってきております。第2ラウンドに相当右のストレート浴びましたんで、かなり腫れてきましたね。
はい、
このままいくとちょっと視界の方も悪くなるんじゃないですか。
そうですね、可能性はありますけれども、ただ寝技なんで、挽回してくれると思いますが、
そのあたりは気合で返してほしい佐藤ルミナ。
さあここからどう仕掛けていくか。
がっちりと腕をフックしている、はい、佐藤ルミナ。セコンドの指示に耳を傾けているところ。こういうボディへの細かいパンチも効いてきます。残り3分という声が、はい、
ルイスも疲れてきてますから、
はい、
ルミナが勝負かけるとしたらここですね。
ガードポジション、この足を今一旦外すようなシーンもありました。何かここから仕掛けてくるか。
はい、外してルミナはこの足をほどいて、攻めに行くのもいい方法だとは思うんですが、はい、ルイスのバランスの良さがありますんで、ちょっと警戒してますね。
その辺もやはり勝負をかけて動かないと、
はい、
拉致が開かないような状況になってきております。ある程度危険を冒してまでも動くことができるでしょうか。足をまた外していく。しかしまた同じ体勢に戻ります。
はい、ルミナ前後を振ってみたらいいんじゃないかと思うんですが。
前後ですか。
はい、自分の方に引き寄せたり後ろに倒そうとしてみたり。
なるほど、そのあたりどういうイマジネーションで組み立てていくか。再び状態を下げました。
はい、こう
腕を入れたいんでしょうか。抜いていきます。残り時間2分。
こういうパンチが徐々に効いてきますからね。
小さい左のフック、ボディ、
はい、
ルミナも返していきます。何狙ってますかジョン・ルイスは。これ
ジョン・ルイスは、攻めたいんですけれども、
はい、
とにかくパンチで嫌がらして隙間を作りたいんですよね。はい、
さあこれもかかとを落としていきます。佐藤ルミナ、相手のこのジョン・ルイスの右の腕のあたりを先ほどから止めていきます。
はい、どちらが大胆な動きを出せるかですね。
そして根負けしないかですね。
はい、両方ともこの体勢から不用意には動けませんよ。
しかし一つチャンスをつかめば一気に決めるという技を両者が持っています。
そうですね。ルミナにしてもこんな長い試合は初めてでしょうから、みんな秒殺で決めてきましたんで。
さあラスト1分、再び両方の腕を決めていきました。この膠着状態、いつ決着がつくのか、それともこのまま時間切れに終わるのか。
相手の技の潰し合いですから、こういう展開になっていくんですね。はい、
しかしお客さんもよく知ってるんでしょうね。こうじーっと見てますよね。
そうですね。ヤジが飛ばないのは素晴らしいですね。はい、拍手すら起こってますしね。
お互いに相手の技を潰しながら、そして自分の技を少しずつ出していく。さあこの辺り最後の攻防か。
勝負ですよ。
距離を取ります。右のストレート。
距離は危ないです。
この距離はジョン・ルイスの距離か。すねのあたりで距離を取ります。
はい、
佐藤ルミナ、
三角チャンスありますよ。
残り10秒、さあ最後のチャンスを生かせるか。時間がないか。ラスト5秒。
さあ返せるか。
ここで終了。
はい、ルミナとしてはどうしてもやっぱり上になりたいところですね。
はい、そのためにはまずこの打撃戦を制しなければいけません。
はい、2人とも倒すパンチ持ってますから、キックも目離せないですね。
そのあたり一発で決まってしまうという可能性も秘めております。
はい、十分ありますね。
はい、キック右、飛び込んでいった。足を取ります。飛びついていくのは佐藤ルミナ。ここもじわりとグラウンドの方に移行していきました。
そうですね。
佐藤ルミナもしっかりと相手の両腕を決めております。
はい、パーリトゥードジャパンルールは頭突きがないですから、
はい、
ここから頭突きは気にすることないんで、技仕掛けていくチャンスはあると思います。
さあこの両者非常にここまで見応えのある対戦をしてきております。第1ラウンド、そして第2ラウンド。
はい、ルミナが2週間にわたってブラジルに遠征しまして、
はい、
その時に、とある柔術セミナーに出たところ、
はい、
ジョン・ルイスも1ヶ月ブラジルに滞在していたと、それで偶然そこでまた再会したという逸話があるんですね。
そうなんですか。
はい、
じゃあ何かこう因縁めいたというか、
そうですね、
運命の糸でつながっているというところありますね。
そんな感じありますね。まさに運命の対決だと思います。
これからそしてこの両者というのがもちろん両方とも伸びていくでしょうから、
はい、
新しいライバル関係というのができてきそうですね。
そうですね。
さあここは上体をやや起こしました。それにくっついていく形、佐藤ルミナ。
はい、
左、そして右を抜く。うまく抜いていきました。さあここはジョン・ルイス自分のペースに持ち込もうというところ。佐藤ルミナもガードポジション、
はい、
一旦外されそうになりましたけれども、
はい、
膝を入れて相手を起こそうというところ。
ルミナは腕関節欲しがってますね。
腕に意識いってますか。
はい、ところがルイスは分かってますから動かせないですね。
またガードポジションに戻ります。
意地と意地ですね。ルイスはエクストリームの本当にトップ選手ですから、
はい、
エクストリーム大会ではもう2連勝ですし、ルミナも6連勝ですね。負けなしです。
去年の9月にハワイで AMC の大会でプロデビューを果たしたばかりなんですが、
そうですね。その後エクストリーム大会ではカーウソン・グレイシーの息子のカーウソン・グレイシー・ジュニアとドローに終わってます。
そうですか。
はい、
そういった
拍手すら起こってますしね。
お互いに相手の技を潰しながら、そして自分の技を少しずつ出していく。さあこの辺り最後の攻防か。
勝負ですよ。
距離を取ります。右のストレート。
距離は危ないです。
この距離はジョン・ルイスの距離か。 すねのあたりで距離を取ります、
はい、
佐藤ルミナ。
三角チャンスありますよ。
残り10秒、さあ最後のチャンスを生かせるか。時間がないか。ラスト5秒。
さあ返せるか。
返せるか。ここで終了。時間切れ引き分け。
いや2人とも大健闘ですね。これは。
いやこの何かこうお互い今抱き合ったところに2人のこれからというのがね見えましたね。
ライバルストーリーの始まりでしょうね。
With this double leg takedown, Andre's holding my lapel. I take two hands on it and I pull it away. I control the arm still, and I step in with my right knee between his two legs. My right arm's around his leg, my left leg comes in tight, and I squeeze tightly, lifting him and putting him on his back. Once again, control his arm, stripping it away, falling to my right knee to the floor, and my right hand around his leg. My left foot steps in with my left arm, squeezing tightly, lifting him, and putting him on his back. In slow motion. My two hands grab his one hand, breaking his grip, and then I shoot in with my right knee between his two legs, taking him to the floor. In defense, I strip Andre's hand, and Andre is going to take me over by grabbing my belt and my pants, kicking me over, and mounting. Once again. So I strip his hand and I shoot in for the double leg. Andre grabs my belt and my pants, rolls and kicks me over, and mounts. So as I'm there, he has my belt, my pants, his right leg, kicking me over, and taking the mounted position. In this position, I take my right knee against his head, my left leg shoots through and around. I pivot my legs to opposite direction. First I take my right arm, reaching across and underneath his body and grabbing his other lapel and choking. Or my hip comes forward and applies a shoulder lock. My arm's underneath, holding his wrist, shoulder lock, reaching underneath with the lapel, choking. Once again. My right knee across his face, keeping a distance, keeping the space. My left leg shoots through and around, pivoting my legs. I reach under his arm, grab his wrist, my right hand comes through, opposite lapel and chokes. Or I apply my hips forward, shoulder lock. Once again, controlling his wrist with my left hand, my right hand comes through and chokes. Okay, so I take my right hand, pushing his head, making space for my knee to come in. My knee is very important in this position. Keeps the space. My left leg comes around, over his shoulder, and I pivot my body. My feet end up facing the other direction now. I reach over his body, keeping him from rolling, and under his arm. At this point, I'll take my right hand, reach underneath his neck to his opposite lapel. See, I'm passing it with my left hand here. And I apply a choke. Or we can put the shoulder lock by putting my hips forward, like so. Once again, let's see it. My hand comes underneath, controlling his wrist. There's a shoulder lock there. My right hand comes underneath, grabbing the lapel, and applying the choke. This is a very cool defense. Andre's actually going to counter the omoplata technique that I just showed you with the same technique. So as I come up for my technique, he rolls, and watch how he grabs my arm and pulls it through the hole and puts it on me. And now he catches me. Once again, as I go for the technique, I don't control him well enough. He grabs my arm, pulls it through the hole, and submits me. The problem here is I don't control him well enough. So as I go for the technique, and I sit up and reach around his back, I should have held him a little tighter. I left a little loose, left a little bit of slack in there, and he rolled over, and he looks for my arm as he does it, between his legs, snatching it through, trapping my arm, controlling me a little better than I did him, and he gets the omoplata. In this way of passing the guard, standing up, my right hand grabs both lapels over his solar plex. My left hand grabs his arm and pins it to his stomach. I stand up with my left leg first, passing his sleeve to my right, pushing his knee all the way to the floor, and dropping my knee to the floor as well, as also pinning his arm. I reach under his head, my right arm comes around, lifting his leg so he can't trap my leg, and I step freely through, and then, only then, do I release my other leg. Once again. Grab two lapels with one hand over his solar plex. My next hand pins his arm to his stomach, like so. Now I stand up with that leg first so he can't grab it. I pull tightly, lifting him off the ground, switching arms, switching grips. My left hand pushes his knee all the way to the floor, and I drop my knee to the floor. I also pin his arm to his stomach at the same time. I leave my foot hooked so he can't move it or can't catch me or trap me with it. My left arm comes under his head, and my right arm lets go of his arm at this point and lifts his leg so he can't trap me with that leg. I step through the hole, and then I release my other foot, and I'm in the side control. Let's hit it one more time. My right hand grabs both lapels right over his solar plex. My left hand grabs his sleeve and pins it to his stomach, like this. I stand up with my left leg. This is because his right arm can't grab it. Then my next leg, and I switch sleeves to my right hand. My left hand then pushes his knee all the way to the floor, and I drop my left knee to the floor as well. I pin his arm. My foot stays over his leg, keeping his leg pinned. This is so he can't grab my leg with his. My left arm comes under his head. My right hand grabs his leg, lifting it up so he can't catch my leg with that leg. I step through the hole, and only then do I free my second foot. I want to make sure he doesn't catch me, so I keep my foot hooked, bring my leg through, then let my other leg go. And I'm in a side control. In defense, André grabs my sleeve, opposite, frees his arm, reaches under my leg, and he's going to leave his arm against the floor and push his hip hard into my knee, buckling my knee and mounting. Again, as I stand up, he reaches across, grabbing my sleeve, frees his arm, keeps his arm against the floor, bringing his hip hard into my knee. He has to buckle my knee to make me fall. I fall, keeps my arm so I can't stop myself, and mounts. Again, as I stand up, he reaches across, grabs my sleeve, pulls his other arm free, reaches inside, against the floor. Watch him push his hip into my knee. See it? Buckle my knee there? That's why I fall. He's controlling my arm so I can't stop myself from falling. Comes all the way up, mounting, and there you have it. Okay, André grabs my belt in this position. He sits out here, reaches through, over my leg and through, grab my other pants. His elbow comes down tightly, controlling both legs, steps over, and then releases his arm, and he's mounted. Let's see that again. From the side control, he reaches over my arm, controlling my belt. See his hand comes over my leg and under and grabs my pants, sitting out. Now I'm kind of tight up there. He steps over, real low, takes his arm out, and mounts. How about slow? Reaching over, controlling my pants, brings his elbow downwards. That's what turns my leg sideways. That makes the mount easy. At this point, I'm stuck. He steps over real low, over his own arm. When he's all the way in there, he takes his arm out and takes the mounted position. In this technique, I grab Andre's belt. I make space by pushing away. And then I bring both legs up over his back and put my hooks in. And I take his back. Once again, so you can see what it looks like, I'm pushing away and lifting my legs. Push away, put the hooks in, take the back. So I grab his belt, like this. My elbows are inside, okay? It's important I grab his belt. It gives me something to push off of and something to control and pull myself up with as well. I need to make some space by pushing away. If you don't make this space, you're not going to be able to get your leg up over his back because his head's going to keep you down. His head on your stomach will keep you down. So you got to push away to make the space. Then I bring the legs up and I put my hooks in. See my arms kind of switch there and I grab under his arms, under his biceps. It kind of helps me pull myself up. At this point, I have both hooks in and I'm on his back. This is a wonderful choke from the mount. Andre's arm comes under my head. He then takes my kimono, makes it loose, passes it under my arm, and grabs it. Keeps it nice and tight, as well as sets up for the choke. His other hand grabs in my lapel, cross-side. His arm comes around my head, brings his head to the floor, and chokes. Once again, he comes under my head, like so. Loosens up my gi a little bit, passes it to his hand. His right hand comes across my body, grabbing the lapel, and his elbow comes over my head, across my neck, his head comes to the floor, and he chokes me. See that again. Arm under my head. His right hand's going to loosen up my lapel a little bit and pass it under my arm to his own hand. This is the control as well as the choke setup. And his right hand comes across my body. The fingers are in, the four fingers are inside. Gets a nice grip, kind of deep. Elbow comes around my head, across my neck, head comes to the floor, and chokes. Okay, so André grabs my lapel. And defense is very easy. It's very basic, but very easy. I control his arm, control his leg, and I bridge. Okay, so André grabs my lapel. And defense is very easy. It's very basic, but very easy. I control his arm, control his leg, and I bridge. I'm sure you've seen this before, but it's a proper defense and it's very simple. Once again, he goes for the technique. Passes my lapel under my arm into his own hand. But now his arm is there under my head. So this gives me an opportunity that I need. I'm going to control his arm there, keep it there, so it's hard for him to get it out. Then I take my right foot, or my foot on the same side that I'm trying to control of his arm, and I trap his foot, like so. And then I just do a strong bridge, a very strong bridge, over that same shoulder, and I take him over. We're going to start this position on our knees so you can see what Andre's arms are doing. Around my neck, under my arm, grabbing both lapels like so. Okay, now we'll put his hooks in, and we'll go to our position. From here, Andre's knee leaves the hook, his foot comes across my body and over my shoulder, and he chokes. Andre comes around my neck with a choke, and under my arm and grabs both lapels. Now we'll put both hooks in and we'll go down to the ground so you can see what we're going to do. From here, Andre's going to let one hook out and put his other foot across my body. His leg comes over my shoulder, straightens both arms out, and chokes. So he reaches around my neck, gets a nice tight grip. His right hand comes under my arm and grabs across the lapels, sets up for the choke. Now we go down to this position here. Okay, Andre's going to take his left leg and pull it out of the hole, and his right leg comes across my body. At this point, his left leg is going to come over my shoulder, and he's going to push down with his legs and straighten both arms out and apply the choke. This is a very effective control used to control somebody from behind. Reaching under both arms, grabbing lapels, kind of putting pressure on their neck, putting your weight down on their back, on their butt area, so it's hard to roll, kind of hard to get out of there, you know. And this is the technique Andre likes to use to get out of it. He takes his right hand, he's going to grab my knee, right at the pants of my knee here. And he's going to roll over his opposite shoulder and start turning towards me, but keeping my knee down. Okay, see how he kept switching his hands there with the pants? Once again, put my weight on him. It's kind of hard to roll out of this. Grabs my pants, rolls over his opposite shoulder, keeps my pants down though, kind of puts pressure downwards so I don't roll with him. Changes his grip and faces me. Once again, he's grabbed my pants at the knee area. Okay, he's right here at the knee, and then he's going to roll over his opposite shoulder. But he's pushing my knee downwards still, kind of. He's not letting me roll over with him. See him switch grips there? Pulling my knee downwards, keep me facing him. Making space there. And I'm back in his guard. Points of vulnerability when you're trying to stand up in the guard, okay? First of all, to show this technique and to show how you use your legs and your arms together, Andre's not going to use his arms at all. He's going to use just his legs to show you how hard it is for me to stand up and how easy it is for him to bring me forward if he does it at the right time. The first time is when I'm taking my first step. When I'm halfway there, I'm not fully planted yet. Watch his legs. Okay. He's just bringing his knees to his chest with his feet closed, okay? And he's doing it at the right time, okay? As I'm standing up, he's bringing them forward. Okay, he will be using his hands, but right now he's using his legs. The second time is on my second step. So the first step, say I make it this far. Now I gotta make it one more step. So he's catching me like in transition. And when I'm in transition, it's hard for me to have good base or me to be in a solid position, okay? So once again, first time, second time. Okay, now, use his hands as well. He takes his grips as well. Okay, keeps his elbows high, and he's gonna pull me upwards, not straight in, but upwards, as he uses his legs as well, okay? So I can have my grip, and as I'm getting ready to stand up, he waits for a moment, and he pulls me forward. Okay, second time. Say he goes for the first one and I defend it. Okay, now I go for a second, and he pulls me forward. It's very much of a sensitivity thing. Work on this. Okay, this is a drill, kind of like the other one where you're lifting the guy up with your feet. But I'm starting from inside today, a butterfly guard, okay? It takes a little more leg control. Maybe after you do the other one for a while, you'll develop this power in your legs. What I'm gonna do is have 2 feet inside, control the sleeves again. I'm gonna use a principle again we taught earlier, which is using this momentum to help me get my advantage or my result. I grab here, I sit up. As I come back, I'm gonna lift my legs from my feet, try to throw them up in the air and catch them with my feet. Let's see if we can do it. Okay, and again. Again, try to get a little more smooth now. Okay, 10 times how to do it. Try it, guys. Here's Igor Zinoviev once again. He's going to help us out with the technique today. And see what you got.
That's moves half the toshi, half the nagi. You gotta make sure you got like a grip with your arms, steady knee, and pull it, and kasanga roll in the arms.
Once again.
That's moves half the toshi, half the nagi. You gotta make sure you got like a grip with your arms, steady knee, and pull it, and kasanga roll in the arms.
The best time to attack somebody is when they're attacking you, because when they're attacking you, they're in offense and not defense, so they're not thinking about their defense as much. So what I'm going to show you right now is some techniques that I like to use to get inside and clinch off of someone's attack. A lot of times in my strategies in my fights, when I'm setting a guy up, I'm trying to get him to punch or get him to kick at me, and as soon as I see him do that, I attack. It doesn't matter if he's throwing a feint or it doesn't matter if he's throwing a full technique. If I see the initial intention of the technique, then that's enough for me to know to attack. Okay, so let's check it out. Okay, so like I said, the best time to attack someone is when they're attacking you. Okay, it doesn't matter if he's throwing a feint, which is like a half throwing technique, just to throw me off, or it can be throwing a full technique. Okay, when I see the movement, when I see the intention that he's trying to hit me, that's when I'm going to close in, because he's still blowing his wad, so to speak, and I can get inside without getting hit if I can move myself accordingly. Okay, so for instance, the slow motion here, he throws the jab. As soon as I see the slightest movement, I'm going to clinch it. I'm going to come inside. Okay, to get to my position. If he's throwing a kick, okay. Same situation. I'm going to keep my hands up, because sometimes you never know if he's going to throw the punch or the kick. You just wait for the moment. I bring myself down, keep my hands here in case the leg comes up, and I just reach around and grab it. Okay, so I'm trying to draw an attack from him. He's waiting for me to get in range. As soon as I get in his range, he throws a tap. And that's when I come. As soon as I get in the range, he's throwing it. So move and step inside. I've studied quite a few things in my years. I have a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I have a black belt in Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. I have a black belt in Judo, and I was Gene LaBelle's first black belt in his World Grappling Federation. Gene LaBelle is a great instructor of mine that I learned many things from. So basically, I also have 2 black belts in a system called Shokondo, which is a Japanese kickboxing system, which basically is kind of similar to Muay Thai, which is elbows, knees, and so on. And basically, when I put my so-called JSEC together, all that really is putting all these techniques together, the things I think are realistic for a street situation. So what I try to do is take a little from each thing and make a nice system for my fighting system. After training with André for quite a while, he thought that I had black belt potential. He thought that I had the skills to be a black belt. We trained with him and with some of his other students that were good black belts as well. And he gave me a black belt. He gave me his personal black belt off of his body, and which I was very honored by, and he gave me my black belt. So I was very happy to meet someone who wasn't worried about an American being a black belt, who just thought, you're good, you deserve a black belt, worked with me for a while, made sure I was up to par, and he gave me my black belt. André has been a black belt for, I believe, 10 years, and he received his black belt from Carlson Gracie in Brazil. He's been doing jiu-jitsu for a long time, André has, and he is a very respected school in Brazil. His school is always top 2 schools in Brazil in all the tournaments. They're always dominating. His student for student, he definitely has, I believe, the best students in Brazil, and I don't just say that from my opinion. I say that because his students are always winning, and he has students that can train for a short amount. He has a few guys that. Some guys train for 3-4 years, they're black belts, and they destroy guys who've been training for 10, 15 years. That means to me that he's teaching them, he's holding nothing back from them. He's helping them get as good as he can, quick as he can. A lot of the schools in Brazil, they'll keep a guy at a belt for a long time. A blue belt will be a blue belt for 4 years, or a brown belt can be a brown belt for 4 or 5 more years. And that's because they want the schools to always win their division. Say if I give one guy a brown belt and I keep him a brown belt for 5 years, 5 years later, he's fighting against the brown belt who just became a brown belt, and that guy's killing everybody. So they have their brown belt champion, of course. Well, Andrea, I've noticed, if he thinks you're ready for your next belt, he gives you your next belt. He doesn't do it the wrong way, and still his students win. So that tells me that he's teaching the real techniques. He's doing it for the right reasons, not just to make a school big, not just holding the people down to make a school big, but he wants the students to grow and feel their growth, which is really important, which means his interests are in the right place, which I believe are 2-year students.